It is The Riot on Radio U, 8772 Radio U. Don't forget, while you're getting dressed, throw on that Radio U shirt, take a picture, because Radio U's birthday is coming up on Friday, and we need your pics to share on social media to celebrate Radio U's birthday. It's going to be a lot of fun, so text it into 8772 Radio U. Good day. Welcome to Wednesday on the show. Good day, Isaiah.
Well, good morning.
Yeah, it's a good one. We talked yesterday how Amazon Prime Video, they are working with Mr. Beast. They apparently have a deal in place for a game show, the biggest payout in game show history. It's going to be $5 million. But that's really all of the info we have on that. But we do have more info from Amazon Prime Video. It seems they're doubling down on the game shows in 2024. It seems that they are working with none other than Travis Kelce, Mr. Taylor Swift, on a reboot of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, where he will be the host.
Bringing a classic back.
Yeah. I didn't know this, but Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, its original run with Jeff Foxworthy, that ended in 2011. It's been 13 years since that's been on the air. Technically not 13 years. John Cena hosted it on Nickelodeon for a little bit, but it's really been 13 years since it was anywhere, and now they're thinking of bringing it back. Do you think it's a smart idea?
Do I think bringing the show back is a smart idea?
Yeah.
I think it feels like a fine idea. It was a decent show.
With Travis Kelce as the host?
If Jeff Foxworthy can do it,
Sure.
I'm sure Travis Kelce can handle it.
He can handle it. Do you think he's, I'm just curious. I mean, I feel like he's more charismatic than I realize because he's got his podcast that is very successful. But you have to be, like, especially a show like Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? You got to be funny. You got to be real funny, quick on your feet. You think that's Travis Kelce?
I honestly would have leaned with his brother
Yeah.
over him, if I'm being honest. I think Travis
His brother
has a
shirtless.
good shtick.
Also, I think.
Yeah, I think Travis has a good shtick, but it's a lot better when he's with his brother, who's a little bit more charismatic, if I had to say.
Yeah, or?
I don't know if wit is his fortune.
Yeah, that's right. Why not both? Why not both? Put them together. That could be a
That'd be too
combo.
expensive.
Yeah. What do you think? What is this with Amazon and bringing back, putting game shows on Prime Video? Who's asking for this?
I
Is
don't
there
know.
a big audience of game show wanters out there that have nowhere to turn, and Amazon is about to give them a place to turn?
Well, how about this? A lot of people have gotten rid of cable.
Mm-hmm.
They've gotten rid of that so they're not able to watch game shows, who are used to be
True.
game show watchers.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some older people that love game shows, or younger people like me that like game shows. If they only have Amazon Prime, they can't watch them. Now they can.
Yeah. Another thing is, like, sometimes game shows, particularly, I feel like Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader with Travis Kelce, could be a good kind of show to just throw on when you don't actually want to watch. You know, just kind of have it on in the background, or like while you're on your phone and you're paying attention more to your phone than the TV. This would be perfect for that. And so Amazon, they've got to have some shows that are obviously that, and not like, well, this might be that, or it might just be a show I don't want to watch at all.
It's a good idea to have shows on your platform that people don't actually need to watch.
Yes.
Those are good ones.
Yes, sometimes you need that.
Add a little Riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at Radio U Official. The Riot. Radio U.
I don't know if you saw these rumors swirling yesterday about James Bond. For a while, it seemed that the next actor to portray James Bond had been chosen. There was headlines going out. It was a report by The Sun from the UK that Aaron Taylor Johnson would be taking over. He had been offered the role as James Bond.
I've heard about this.
But later on, it came to light that that report was an error and no decisions had been made yet. So the offer, as far as we know, has not been extended to Aaron Taylor Johnson. And so it's still up in the air whether he still very well may be the next James Bond, but it doesn't sound like a done deal like it was initially being reported.
But could it also be they want to release it themselves? They didn't want the rumors swirling around it.
Or did somebody in the James Bond camp, one of the decision makers be like, all right, let's leak this. Let's throw this out there, see how people react. If they don't react well enough, then we can say, no, that's a lie, a rumor. And then if they really like it, though, then we can be like, yes, it's true.
Do you think that Aaron Taylor Johnson would be a good James Bond?
I think he makes some sense, right?
I think so.
He's a little more wily than some other James Bonds of the past. Definitely more wily than Daniel Craig seems in the role. But he's good looking enough. He's a little suave.
Because that's what James Bond has to be.
That's one of the things.
Hudson.
Well, you don't want an ugly James Bond. I'm sorry to say. You know what? Who would go to the theaters for that? Nobody. Nobody would go see ugly James Bond. So yeah, he's good looking enough. He's suave enough, and he's got that little wily little bit of an edge to him. I think it could work. Would it be my first choice? Possibly not. But do I think he can make it work? I think absolutely. If they go with him, that's a fine choice.
Some other ones that are being considered. James Norton. That do anything for you?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's not very memorable.
Okay.
He's in Happy Valley, which is a show.
Is that big in the
McMafia,
UK?
Grant Chester, none of that jazz.
These must all be UK things. I have no idea what any of those
How
are.
about Tom Hardy?
I like Tom Hardy. He is a little more of a tough guy edge.
Is he too tough to be James Bond?
Yeah, I don't know. Have we ever had?
Does he seem suave enough?
Oh, he's suave.
You think
Hardy.
He's suave?
Yeah, I think he's suave. He's got a little bit of a country boy side to him, but he's suave. Yeah, for sure.
Henry Cavill.
I'm out on Henry Cavill.
You're out on Henry Cavill?
Yeah, I feel like he's a little too dorky for me. Sorry, Henry. You just go do your nerd stuff. Your Dungeons and Dragons.
Because he wears glasses?
No, because he's into Warhammer and stuff. You go do that stuff. Leaves James Bond to somebody else.
The final one, Cillian Murphy.
Oh no.
No. He's a
No,
hot name
no,
right
no.
now. I don't know if you watch the Oscars or not.
I watched the Oscars, and I don't know if you've seen Cillian Murphy. He looks like a ventriloquist dummy come to life. He's not James Bond. I'm sorry, Cillian Murphy. You can't be James Bond. That I don't want. He's not even ugly. Isn't even the right word. I'm not going to call him ugly. He's just not. He doesn't have the James Bond look. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it. I cannot support that.
You're out on Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, not for James Bond. Great actor. He's not James Bond.
The stories you love with the opinions you hate. The Riot Radio U.
In the UK, a man known as the Cyber Flasher has been sentenced to over a year in prison for cyber flashing.
Cyber flashing?
Yeah, you know what that is.
Sounds like a virus.
It is a virus. It's a disease that needs to be cut out of our society is what it is. This is a guy who was sending lewd and lascivious pictures of himself to people with WhatsApp and with iMessage. It's unclear, even after this whole trial, whether he knew these people, but this is the first time that they've actually sentenced somebody to prison for sending dirty pictures to people who didn't want to receive them. I guess in the past, you could do that. There's some kind of punishment, but it's not the same as if you flash somebody in person, because that's really what you're doing, right?
Same thing.
Yeah. And so now I don't know what the rules are going to be in the United States for this, but in the UK, this is the first time that they've had somebody, because this law just went into effect, that you can be sentenced to prison for sending somebody naked pictures that didn't ask for them.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You got to think he's sentenced to 66 weeks in prison.
Yeah.
About a year and 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And was already on probation during the offenses for exposure, just pretty much flashing people.
Yeah. So
already in person, not just the cyber
he
ones.
He just can't control himself. Does that mean that if he wasn't on probation, that this punishment would have been less? Do you think a year in prison is pretty appropriate? Now, this is another wrinkle to the case, is that this guy, one of the individuals he sent pictures to, was underage. And again, it's unclear if he knew these people that he was sending them to, or if he was just indiscriminately just sending stuff out and it happened to be somebody who was underage. But nevertheless, that makes it worse, of course. So then you wonder if it was just like, what would the punishment be? Is this like the most extreme punishment he could get because he was already on probation? It was a minor, or is this just like, could it be worse? Could it be worse?
Well, you got to think, for this guy here, not contributing to society in any
No,
positive
this
ways.
is a big negative.
Yeah, huge negative here. Also, just the whole randomness of it. He needs to take some time by himself to sit in jail for a while.
Yeah.
Recontemplate some choices he's making. I don't think that this is a bad thing for him to do.
Yeah.
And the fact that I think he needs to sit in jail for a little bit. Think this through. Think his life through, and figure out how he can contribute to society in a positive way, because clearly what he's doing, ridiculous. I mean, what in the world are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, you have to imagine somebody that just is a repeat offender on this, not even just once. You need some therapy. You need some kind of like, you got something going on in your mind.
And what is the positive? Like, what is the best? My question is always,
Yeah.
what is the best case scenario from just a public flashing? Like, what are you thinking? What are they going to reply with? Looking good. Like, what do you think can happen here?
I don't know.
That's why I'm always surprised at
cannot.
what the end goal would be for a guy like this. 39 years old, you've lived long enough to know that this is wrong.
Yeah. And he's done it multiple times, whether in person or through WhatsApp. I don't know. I don't know what the end goal is of a flasher, cyber or otherwise. I can't put myself in those shoes. In fact, Isaiah, I've never been naked, so I don't even know what that's like.
And you got to think too, for like a cyber flasher is even worse, because if you're flashing people in person,
Yeah.
which has been happening for years and years and years, I don't know why you would want to do that for like a rush or something, but sending it via text online from your bedroom seems like just a crazy thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
To random people.
To random people.
You
don't even know.
Like, what's the pro there?
Now they're tracing it back to you. If you were very quick at flashing in person, you might get away with it. but if you send it through text,
there's always evidence.
Right. There's evidence right there.
Always evidence. And you got
Nobody wants to look at it, but it's there.
And you got to think too, when he gets out of jail, how long before we allow this man to have a phone again?
I don't think he should ever.
He can never have a phone
He's
again, right?
banned
An
from
iPhone,
phones.
he can't have a camera phone.
Yeah.
He cannot have
That's
a camera
right.
phone.
He can have a flip phone with no camera.
Yes.
Even though I feel like he'd find a way to use that wrongly as well.
If podcast awards were ever a thing, this show wouldn't win any. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Because it's National Proposal Day, we started getting in the mood for romance, started thinking about weddings and things of that nature. And so the question is, would you rather spend a whole bunch of money, let's say, I don't even know what the amount of money, spend all the money on an engagement ring, or spend all the money on the honeymoon? What's more important?
We're looking at a really expensive engagement ring or a really expensive honeymoon.
Yeah. But just imagine you get one or the other.
Yeah, you only get one or the other.
Yeah. 8772 Radio U. Chime in with your thoughts on this. And I guess as a guy, I guess this is open to interpretation too, right? You can think, like, especially as a guy, are you thinking spending all the money on that engagement ring, or are you putting yourself in the woman's shoes and thinking, if I was a woman, would I rather have the expensive engagement ring or the expensive honeymoon? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or think as a guy, would it make your gal more happy to spend?
Yeah, you got to break it down in your own relationship.
Yeah.
Figure it out with your lady. If you're married, it's kind of your everyday life. What's going to work out better for you there, brother?
Yeah.
Is your girl going to be real upset?
Yeah.
If her engagement ring isn't amazing? Or is that going to mean a lot to her? Maybe you can find joy in giving her something really special.
And then also think about this as a guy. Think about if the honeymoon is much more important to you than the ring, and the gal, it's opposite, should you even be together?
That's wild.
Yeah, but if your priorities are clearly different.
But you got to think,
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys are going to raise their hand and say the engagement ring for them is going to be the go-to thing there?
Right.
But you got to think for your couple. Figure it out. Like if your girl, if it doesn't so much matter to you about the engagement ring, like as you guys as a pair, and you think she would really enjoy the trip, maybe that's your pick.
Yeah, you just got to.
And then obviously, if you're a lady here, then you just get to decide.
Yeah, that's right. It's much easier for you. There's much less.
You don't have to worry about what he wants.
Yeah, you just worry.
This is about you, which is okay.
All right. Would you rather have only an expensive engagement ring or only an expensive honeymoon? 8772 Radio U. We'll see what people are saying next.
Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Since today is National Proposal Day, would you rather have a really nice ring, a really expensive engagement ring, or a really expensive honeymoon? And Isaiah, I don't know if you're seeing the responses come in here. It's overwhelming in one direction. This is crazy. Let me just go through. I'll go through all the reasoning in a second, but I see Barb here, Susanna, Tim, Bree, Regina, D, all going with honeymoon.
No one yet has picked a ring.
Jared did.
Oh, yeah, Jared
Jared
did.
said
You're
ring.
right.
Jared's the only one that I've heard from so far that said ring. Jared said he would choose a ring over the honeymoon because a ring lasts forever.
True.
But if it was if it was wedding ceremony and reception versus honeymoon, he'd take the honeymoon. But that's not the question. I'm going to tell Jared, this is why I think I have to disagree with you, is because a ring lasts forever. That is true. But so do the memories of your honeymoon. What else needs to be said?
Yeah, but like, how many memories are you really remembering from your vacations?
I think that's the most memorable times you have. My best memories are mostly on,
I don't even remember going to Disney when I was 11.
Well, you're not 11 when you get married and go on a honeymoon.
I'm just throwing a rebuttal out there. I went on a lot of vacations in my life.
Yeah.
Those are not
you
bringing
can't hide
me
money.
Those aren't bringing me much joy today. Not lying. They
I
aren't
don't
bringing me
know.
much joy today.
Well-
Yeah, I've seen the Grand Canyon. I've seen it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And now you know what I get to say? I've seen the Grand Canyon, and it was fun, I think, from what I remember from 15 years ago. But that ring, every time my girl's plotting it around, if you gave me the opportunity,
Yeah.
if I'm not paying for it, and if somebody said, here's $1 million, you have to spend it on a honeymoon or a ring.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that might say, I'll spend it on my girl's ring because every time she's walking around, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, look
That's
at your ring.
$1 million ring.
Oh my gosh, look at that ring.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I go on this incredible vacation, we'll make great memories, but nobody's going to be like, oh my gosh, your trip from 10 years ago was incredible.
Yeah. I don't know. The results don't lie, though, because we're seeing, and we just listed off a bunch of the people that had texted in saying honeymoon, like Susanna. She said she didn't even want an engagement ring at all.
No ring.
We also had Bree, who said that she'd be fine with just a ring pop or matching tattoo rings as long as she got a real nice honeymoon instead. TJ says honeymoon as well. He's going with the honeymoon and saying that what kind of
It's a
ring is that?
moissanite ring.
Moissanite. What is that?
It's not like a true diamond.
Mhm.
It's like a really similar, like created in a lab type thing.
He says lab created and very similar to diamonds. I don't know if he's trying to like suggest pulling a prank, pulling a fast one on your lady.
That's a pretty well known thing.
It's
The
well known.
moissanite.
So there's a way to save money. And Bailey says my wife got both. Can't hide money.
Congratulations on your success.
Congratulations on that, Bailey. Another one, Abby says a honeymoon is way more fun. The ring is just an item, and it's usually expensive and debt-inducing. But at least for the honeymoon, we can have our vacation together. So that's what I'm saying. It's for both of you. And all the ladies are saying that. They want their man to be happy, too. I love that.
No, I think I'm telling you, I like the honeymoon. I would rather have the vacation. But I'm saying if someone gave me $1 million, would I spend it on a trip or an item that I'm going to have forever? I think an item would be a little bit more valuable to me. Because guess what? In 30 years, if my wife divorces me, we can split that ring.
Yeah.
And we're never splitting that money from the honeymoon, are we?
And then
that item's gone. That item is in the rearview mirror.
That memory also becomes a lot more painful, possibly. But
Hey, but $500K in my pocket, if it's $1 million ring, feels pretty good.
But if you're going into the honeymoon thinking, what if we get divorced? That's probably not a good honeymoon to start with.
And I would say that me and my gal Lee, we aren't very materialistic people, so we probably would lean honeymoon. But yet again, if somebody gave me $1 million and said, would you like an item or a trip? I would pick an item.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.